Things playing. Yeah, we are back again. It is Saturday evening, and we talk about Pass It On. Welcome to Pass It On, and we are talking about best investment strategy, best property investment strategy. That's what we want to talk about this evening. And for some of you, if you have never been here before, this is what we do every Saturday. We come out live here, and I jump on onto the mics, and we start to talk about real estate and property. And why do I do this? It's because I am always buying real estate. I am always buying real estate here in South Africa. We have the business M5 Property Addicts, and we've been doing this for the last couple of years, 5 going 6 years, and we do property investments. And yeah, if you don't know, you've never been here before, that's what we do. And Saturday evenings, we call it Pass It On, because that's where I come out to you, and we talk about properties themselves. We talk about investments, and then I get to answer some of your questions. If you do have any questions around property investments, I get to answer some of those questions. So yes, this is Pass It On at M5 Property Addicts. So today, as I speak to the best property investment strategy, best property investment strategy. I know a lot of you are excited and you're like, yay! And some of you, maybe you might have already started investing in properties wherever you are. And you come here, and under what we talk about, and we can just literally go in one by one to talk about If you can hear me out there, just let me know. It looks like we might have lost maybe connectivity, but we are back again. Yes, we are back again everywhere. All right, I apologize for that. So, all right, good. The guys that are on Insta, they're saying that they can hear me. Thank you very much. The guys that are on YouTube, can you hear me now? All right. Let me see. Let me hear from you in the comments if you can hear me. And if you can hear me, just type in there, I can hear you, or yes, or thumbs up or something. Yeah, they're saying that I was cut out, but I'm back now. All right, good. So let's talk about it. All right. I want us to speak to. Actually, today was an amazing day. I spent the whole day with my franchise partners. I've got about 30 franchise partners that I do have, and I spent the whole day today, and we're gonna be doing it again tomorrow. These franchise partners are people that take on a business, the business that I do, which is M5 Property Addicts, and they buy into the franchise, and out of that, they go out and then they make it work in their own area, and boom, they start investing into properties. Okay, and that's what we do. So it was amazing. Today we were talking about buying properties with no money at all. So we're talking about private money. How do you start? How do you knit it all together? But today I am going to talk to you not about private money. I'm going to talk to you more specifically around the best investment strategy. Which one is the best investment strategy, right? Right. Which one is the best investment strategy? Right. So before I start, I just want to jump on to you and say to you guys, which investment strategies do you actually know? So in the comments there, let me know which investment strategy do you know, right? There's so many investment strategies, but the question that I want to ask is, which ones do you know? Because there are quite a lot of them, right? Property is a wider, it's very, very wide, right? There's so many things that you can do in property, but I want to hear from you whilst we are starting today, right? Which investment strategies do you know, right? Someone says that you can do buy to let. So let's define what buy to let is. So as we go along, just drop it in the comments there. What is buy to let? Buy to let is when you buy a property, okay, and you rent it out. So you're buying and holding it for a long time. It can be a year, it can be maybe 10 years, 20 years. And this is my happy place. I like doing that. I like having a property for a long time because what does it do? Number one, it appreciates. So I'm making money whilst I'm sleeping. And then number two, I'm also getting a cash flow. If you're not getting a cash flow on the properties, then there's something wrong. Okay. You need to be getting income on your property, even from day one, because that's what an investment. Investments put money in your pocket, and a liability takes money away from you, right? So I like that strategy of buy to let, because not only am I making money um, in my capital appreciation, my property making money, so it's appreciating over a period of time. By the way, in South Africa, property generally double up in 10 years, average, right? You may double up in prices, okay? I've seen properties that can do a little bit higher than that, and some that are a little bit lower than that, but in South Africa in general. So if you're buying a property today, in 10 years' time, you're good. But hold on, what about if you buy your property and then someone else is paying your bond for you? That's why I like the buy to let, because that's the strategy, right? Okay. So I like it because of the appreciation, and I also like it because of the rental that's coming in. So it's giving me money today, and it's giving me money tomorrow, and someone else is paying for my bond, right? Or for my finance or for my debt. Like, good. So that's number one, buy to let. Making sense? Give me some thumbs up or some hearts if it is making sense, right? And then someone else have just hit us. Let me see where they're flipping. Oof, I don't like that. Flipping, I don't like that. Right. Flipping, I don't like it. Why don't I like it? By the way, if you've just joined us, welcome to. We are here every Saturday, and we are talking about properties. We call this Pass It On, and Pass It On just basically means that we are here talking about real estate, and you can learn how to do these things. You can learn how to do this. All right, good. Someone else who's on Insta has said flipping. Why don't I like to do flips? Why don't I like to do a flip? A flip doesn't get you rich. Okay? A flip doesn't get you rich. You're going to buy a property and you're going to sell it to someone else, and you're going to get a little bit of some money. Okay? So let me give you an example. If your property is doubling up every 10 years, but you are buying the property and then you are selling it at the same time, you're going to make money once, and for the rest of your life, you're not making any more money. You probably need to go and get another flip so that you can continuously working, right? So if ever you stop working from a flipping perspective, then you don't have an income. That's why I like to buy and let, because the buy and let, for as long as, if I buy the right properties now, for the rest of my life, I might not need to work. Okay, I'm not an advocate of you don't need to work, you need to go to the beach. I'm not that kind of a guy. I like to work, but I'm saying that you don't have to. You can work in the areas that you like to enjoy to work in the places that you enjoy to work for, right? Not the places that you have to work, not the job that you have to do. I'm about you need to go and do what you love to do. right? So if this is looking after kids at a children's home, you don't need to worry about an income. You can go and do that nicely. I hope this makes sense. Or if you want to be a nurse, you can go to be a nurse at any place that you want to be, because you're not worried about your income, because your buy to let is giving you that money. So that's the reason why I don't like doing flips. But you may also do a flip in combination of a buy to let. So you're flipping, but you're utilizing the money to go into the buy to lets that you want. Then I'm like, okay, cool, I like it. But then I might also say to you, hey, what about the same energy that you're utilizing in the flips? Instead of just focusing on the buy to let and you're continuously buying what you love to do. That's my perception. That's my comment around it. I don't do flips. Like, probably I've done maybe about not even more than I can count in one hand. Right? It's not my thing. It's not my thing. But if it's your thing, you do what works out for you. Right. So the guys that are on Insta, let me know what is your what are the other property strategies that you know. We are talking about the best strategy. We are talking about the best strategy tonight. Which one is the best strategy for you? Best strategy in property investments. That's what we're talking about. By the way, welcome to M5. This is what we call pass it on. Pass it on is I give you some information and you need to pass it on to other people, because I am passing it on. I got the information from someone else by learning, and another guy that's called doing. I like that guy doing. All right. Right. Developments. Someone has said developments. They like developments. Right. I like developments as well. We do a couple of developments here, but developments are not for everybody because not everyone understands how to do developments. You need to have the skill to do it, right? There's quite a lot of things that can go wrong in developments. Is it the right land? Is it in the right place? Can you develop? Do you have the money? Is all the compliance there? And if it is, you can do it. In general, developments require a large capital injection upfront, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. And we traditionally see a lot of the guys that are in the same circles doing it. But once you're able to break in there in the developments, there's good money in it. You could be making around about a 20, 30%, in terms of your development. If you're developing like a 10 million rand, so, you're banking that 20 to 30%. For me, I don't like doing developments as a standalone because, again, that's doing a job, right? If you ever stop developments, then you have no income. I like to develop, but develop for myself on the buy to let, for stock, rent stock, as they call it. Does that make sense? If it's making sense, give me some thumbs up or give me some hearts if it's making sense to you. All right, awesome. Developments. And I'm going to jump on to the point now on which one is the best. Someone speaks of student accommodation. Student accommodation. Right. So student accommodation, right, we do need it in our markets. Student accommodation is something that is highly in demand across the world. Across the world. However, it's one of those strategies that I always say to people, don't do it if you haven't gone to learn. You need to learn how to do it. Because student accommodation, you are bringing in a whole lot of people, not a whole lot of people, you're bringing in uh, like teenagers or young adults in your property, and these guys' hormones are everywhere, and you want to control them in your house. You want to bring in like 10, 15, 100, 100 of them in your building. But let's just talk about 15 because a lot of you're starting off on this student accommodation. So I mean, we have run about 350. Next year we're loading up another 100. So we will be around about 450 next year this time. Okay, but hold on. So is it for everybody? Yes, anyone can do it. I'm a big advocate of saying anyone can do it if you put your mind around it and if you learn how to do it. But on the other hand, you can lose money into student accommodation, because imagine 17 to 25 students, young adults that are coming through to stay at your property, and you do not even know how to discipline one child. So how do you do it? How do you create the rules? And that's where that's where things can go wrong, right? I got someone else that says rent to rent. Okay, are you guys on top of the game? High five to you. I'm gonna throw some love at you, right? Thank you for those that are throwing some love at me. I appreciate the love. Keep it going, right? So here is what it is: rent to rent. Why would you rent a property? I also like that strategy a little bit, right? On a scale of 0 to 10, I would give it kind of like a 6, 7, right? So rent to rent, I'll give you an example. How does rent to rent works? You rent a property and you rent it out. So you rent a property from John and you rent it out to Susan. But when you do that, when you do that, how then do you make sure that you're going to be making some money? Right. I've done this strategy before. Business M5 Property Addicts. So we rented a normal building on normal rates, and we were renting it out to students. So we're renting a unit, around about, let's say, about 40 units, and all of those 40 units, we're renting them out at, let's say, 4,000 Rand. But we were renting a bed for 4,000 Rand to students. Okay, but we need to equip the property. We need to put in all the je ne sais quoi, furniture, good internet, good management, and all of a sudden now we were renting it to 4,000 Rand per bed. How many beds could we have in a unit? Maybe about 2 or 3, just depend with the unit. So it basically means that we can cover our normal rent, but what is it going to do into my balance sheet? Nothing. But it's going to do something into my income statement. It's going to bump up my income statement. And the next time I am going to be buying a property for my buy-to-let strategy, the bank is going to hook me up with more money. Okay, so I'm setting myself there for success. How do you set yourself up for success? Rent to rent. Okay, rent to rent also, you can do it, and you can do it also, like I would say, on Airbnb, right? So there's many ways that you can do that on. Right, awesome. Right, we're talking about which of these is best for you. We are talking about which one of these strategies is best for you. So the first one that we spoke to was buy to let, okay? And then the second one was developments. And then the third one was student accommodation, right? Okay. And now we just speak of rent to rent. And I think I've missed one. Yeah, I think I've missed one. Let me just double check here. The one that I've missed just before development, I think I spoke on flipping, right? Flipping, right? Now, already you can see we are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strategies. 5 strategies. Already we have spoken on 5 strategies. Let me jump on to the guys that are on on YouTube now, right? I want to come back to you guys that are on YouTube so that you don't feel left out. Rent to rent, yes. Someone spoke about buy, renovate, and flip. Buy, renovate, and flip. That's the whole flipping business that I was talking to. Right. Okay, good. Right. Let me jump on to the guys that are now on Insta. We can see here what else. All right. Tyson, how's it going? Welcome to Pass It On. Buy to rent. Where can one start with this type of investments? Awesome stuff. I mean, you can start in whatever area that you're in. But I'm going to talk to that a little bit on how do you start if you don't know. How do you start? Right. Someone else speaks of another strategy. They're saying that this one here, Ndaba, how's it going? This is low cost multi-lets. Low cost multi-lets. What do they mean by that? So you can buy low cost housings. You can have what is called back rooms. So for instance, in a township, something like that, and you can have back rooms, right? Back room just basically means that there is a room at the back. You can have a couple of them. I've seen bachelors nicely built, and the guys, they can be able to rent from you. That makes sense, right? Thanks, Ndabo, for that. Someone is asking the question here. I think this person is called As Rally. As Rally. As Rally. I think it is. Okay. Do you need consent from the owner to do rent to rent? Yes, it's very important that you do. By the way, you can ask any question here. This is what we do on Pass It On. You ask any questions, I answer that. But remember, we are covering the topic. What is the best strategy for me to do? Okay, what is the best strategy for me to do? So after Rally 222, I hope, I think it's almost like AF Sa Rally 222, right? Thanks again for that question there. Do you need consent from the owner to do rent to rent? Yes, you do. In my experience, for whatever that you are going to be doing with the property, right, you need to be showing on the contract that you're going to be doing Airbnb, whatever that you're going to be doing, right? You need to be transparent with your lender, because maybe they might not approve of this, and then you've put in the effort, and all of a sudden they say to you, sorry, I am canceling the contract. All right. Now, if that comment there was making sense to you, hit me with some love there wherever you are. Sibu Siso, thank you very much. Welcome to Pass It On. Which option is the easiest for someone who is starting with limited or no finance? Oh, that's a good question, right? That's a good question. Buy to let. Well, you are buying a property there. I'm just trying to answer Sebo Siso, the question there. Buy to let, let's see. Right. On a buy to let, all you're doing is you're buying a property here, right? You're buying the property and you can rent it out as is, right? So low barrier cost. Development, not same thing. There's lots of money that you need there in the development, so not so good for you, Sebo Siso. Student accommodation, there's a big chunk of money that you need to live in furniture. So again, not too good. Rent to rent is a good one. I would say this one, rent to rent, is an easy Sebusiso to jump into this one. Flipping, you're potentially going to be needing some money as well, obviously, to do the renovations. However, you can also learn to work with investors. So my franchise partners that I was talking to today, I was teaching on these things. Basically, you don't need money in property. You don't need money, right? So for someone like you, what you do need is the education. The education. Once you get the education, you will find out that a guy like me who's done properties, um, across South Africa in 5 towns. I mean, we've got around about 200 tenants, just above 200 tenants. And we have an additional 350 students. We're going to jump up to around about 400 for next year. With that, I've never put in any money, Sebo Siso. I've learned how to do it. The education. What you need is the education. All right, good. Let's jump on to someone else. I'm gonna go to YouTube. Zachary. Zachary, what's happening, brother? Welcome to Pass It On. How do you get the money for furniture, for student accommodation before getting student tenanted? Right? You fund it. Or you find an investor and you start funding it with your investors, or you partner up with other people, right? And you do that. All right. Awesome stuff. All right. I hope I've answered that question for you. If I have, hit me up with some love there. All right. Hit me up with some love there. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm gonna go into another question there. The other question that I want to ask is coming through from Webster. Webster, how's it going? Welcome to. Pass it on. Right. Webster is asking. I just got here. Is the whole video going on to be on the channel? Yeah, we're always here, man. We're always here. Shang Kong, back-to-back sell, back-to-back sell there, the tripartite sell. So it basically means that I'm gonna go to another guy called Sibusus, I think it was, and basically you were asking the question like an entry level. This one here is an entry level, but it requires you obviously to know the technique. So it's a back-to-back. You kind of like put an offer on someone else's house and then you sell it. The process that comes through, boom, you make that one. All right. Awesome stuff. I'm going to go into someone else. Douglas, welcome to Pass It On, brother. And he is saying that Bongani Lukilelo in Bombela just joined for the first time. Okay, awesome stuff. Oh, actually, his other name is Douglas Chimbi online, and his real name is Bongani. Welcome. All right, cool. Let's go on. Zachary, rent-to-rent strategy inside of a rent-to-rent. Hold on. Rent-to-rent strategy instead of a rent-to-buy. There's a couple of people that have been coming up with this thing that's called rent-to-buy, right? Basically, it's an installment sale, right? That's what it is. Rent-to-buy, you kind of like, yes, you're renting, and then you're going to buy it at some point. It's an installment sale. That's what it is. Combination of that. So yes, that's also something else that you can do, right? Crazy, Lavnatic, how's it going? Thanks for joining us again. You're always here as well, so thank you for supporting us and coming in to watch and asking all the questions. I'm hoping that you're getting some value here. All right, and you need to pass this on. Remember, okay, so that others can also learn the same stuff that we are learning. So it is great to have you around. What about buy to rent in commercial real estate? Is that a good investment? That's what we're here to talk about. Which one is the best investment, isn't it? Okay, good. So I'm going to go in. Fatima, how's it going? Welcome to Pass It On. Fatima is asking, any contacts or partners that do Islamic finance? Are you asking that you want to do that? I haven't really, I don't really have many Muslim Islamic partners that do the financing itself. A lot of my Islamic friends and partners that I do, they're kind of like roll on cash, and we're doing properties with them on the cash basis. All right. Okay, cool. I'm going to go into someone else here. Someone is asking the question, based on Sibu Siso's question, where can one get training to start without good finance background? Okay, I'm gonna come to you on that one. So just bear with me a little bit. Whilst I am going to give you, the real stuff in terms of how do you actually find this stuff, right? How do you actually do it? Okay. So the guys that are on the Insta, they are asking the question to say, how best can you start learning? And for some of you, you might be wanting to learn how this stuff is done. And you're starting from ground zero up. Well, if you're keen, I've got a class that's coming up. The guys that are on Insta, I've just dropped you guys a link. And on that link, you can join me in class. There's going to be a training that's coming up on the 11th and the 12th. It's a Saturday and Sunday of December. 11th and the 12th of December. And you can come in there, you can join us on there. It's about 1,997 of your money. That's a good investment to your education, and you can just come in there to learn how this thing is done. I hope this makes sense to you, and if it doesn't, then that's awesome stuff. Okay, that's awesome stuff. Right. But tonight, it's not about selling the course. We are not talking about this particular course. We're just talking about how best can you get into these deals. If you want to learn, you can come and learn in the school. We'll be doing that, right? 2 days packed with information. You can learn via online, or you can be learning in the class as well. Hey, I'm gonna throw out to you there. If you're coming online, I'll give you two people. Two people can come in and join. Right. Okay. So I am going to go. So how do you know that this is the best strategy for me? How do you know? Right? Right. How do you know this is the best strategy? Number one, you need to be aware of the different strategies. Someone else has just asked me a question here to say, Mud, what about industrial real estate? It's another strategy. What about farming? It's also another strategy. So you got the farming itself, but you've got the real estate or that. What about someone spoke about development? What about subdivisions? You buy a piece of land, you divide it, and then you sell it. It's another strategy, right? So there's many of these strategies. What about you buy a piece of land, maybe it's about 20, 90 hectares, and you establish a township. Again, it is another strategy. So there's many strategies out there. But how do you know which one is the best for you? Number one, obviously, you need to be aware of the strategies. You need to be aware of the strategies. That's the first thing. Okay. And then number two, once you are aware of the different strategies that are there, you now need to dive in a little bit deeper to understand how to execute the different strategy. So if you are in student accommodation, go to school, learn about student accommodation, right? If you understand about it and you're now learning about it, the deeper you understand, the better you stand yourself a chance to be making money. Okay? Now that you have learned how to do it, go out there and boom, implement. What do I mean by implement? Go out there and buy properties, right? The more you're going to be buying properties in different areas and in different towns, the more you're going to see, oh, this stuff actually works for me. Because when you come to class, what's going to happen is that I'm going to teach you what I've been doing, what I'm seeing, what's working for me. But because you are a different person, you might want to try something else different. And when you add in a secret sauce, it now works a little bit harder for you than what I've done. It's like doing Airbnb, right? So I might be able to teach you how to do Airbnb, but my area is not a holiday destination. So I'm not making heavy money. But for you, your area is a holiday destination, and boom, we're in November right now. By the time we get to implement and before even December, you are full. 1,000 rand a month. I mean, 1,000 rand a day. It's possible, right? So all of those are possible and it can be done, right? So now that's the third thing. The fourth thing now is that now that you're doing, you can now start to try other strategies. You can now start other strategies. So for instance, we do three things in our business. We do developments, okay? That's number one. We do affordable housing. So we buy blocks of flats or we develop them, and we do student accommodation, right? When I was starting off, did I start off by doing all of that? No. I started off with one strategy, and as the time continued with learning, then I diverted into that strategy, started making sense, started giving me some money, and along with everyone else in the team, we would talk about it like, is this the best strategy for us? Let's try it out. And the team were like, yes, we agree with it. And recently, as a team, again, we all sat down and we're like, guys, is this the right strategy for our business? And we sat down out of it and we decided, okay, these three strategies make sense, but next year we're going to add on one other strategy because we are seeing more value in that strategy. And we will keep on doing that. Yes, you can't keep on being in the one asset class. What happens? Like, let's talk about the guys that were owning during COVID, the guys that were owning offices. What happened to them, right? So we all know what happened. All people left, and then they were working from home, right? So when they were working from home, the offices kind of like became redundant. We've been seeing a lot of offices now that have been open for a long time. So how does that work? If you had been an investor in that area, okay? At the moment, a lot of warehousings are doing very well. Why? Because a lot of people are beginning to buy online. So companies that generally sell online, where do they need to keep their stock? Somewhere at a warehouse for easy of deliveries into different towns. So that's another real estate that is also working that you can also try. Okay. How about I know of a lady called Dr. Beulah. She does another different strategy. We've got on our YouTube channel. She came through. I did an interview with her on M5 Successful Friends, and she buys houses and or pieces of lands, and she turns them into a school. Right? She runs a branch. She runs a schooling branch. Right? Again, that's another different strategy. Maybe you could be a doctor and you're thinking how best. Maybe buy a house, turn it into a surgery. That's another strategy as well. So there's so many ways in which you can do this. You just need to find your way. Yanas, what's going on? Welcome to Pass It On. And your question is, hi, Uncle TJ. I'm battling to get finance for my fourth deal from the bank, but I haven't opened any new account since my last deal. I'm buying under the company. Any advice? Maybe I can take it to right. Take it to Christian. Christian is my sidekick in terms of finding finance. Maybe you might just be able to extract some money for you there. But maybe you can try, Yanas. Maybe try an installment sale on that on that deal. Maybe the seller themselves can be your bank, seller finance, right? And you can jump onto the varsity and check out the course that's called seller finance, and you can see how best you can craft it to get that. Crazy, what's happening? If I was an investor, I do turn these offices into accommodation. Yes, right? But it also depends with your zoning. Does your zoning allow for you to turn these properties into? Because maybe it might take you about a year to 2 years to do the zoning. So you know what? You might just need to weather the storm. Hey, there is storms in all businesses, right? There is storms in all businesses. Okay, good stuff. Let me go in. Fatima is asking the question. Auctions also a possible way to acquire properties? Yes, very possible. I don't like doing auctions, but I've seen a couple of people that are winning in the auctions. It is not my thing because whilst I am there, there is 45 other people that are just waiting to buy the same property. I'm a very relationship businessman, so I get there and I want to understand, how can I help them? How can I close the deal? And out of that, I can give them a good offer, which is a win-win. I cannot do that at the auction. At the auction, it's about the hammer and your money, right? And I generally don't have all the money at my disposal. So for that reason, I always want to close a deal on contract so that I can go and look for the money. But if Fatima, if you do have the money and you got the money available, check out the auctions, do your assessment. And once you see that your assessments, run your numbers. And if it works out for you and you got the money, boom, you can go and do it. Mad Genius, welcome to Pass It On. What would you say are the best points of interest for one bed, one bath properties for day one cash flow? Best interest. Oh, okay, for one bed, one bath, what's the best interest? Okay, for me, so Mad Genius, basically what you're asking for here is what's the best return on investment For me, the best return on investment is when I am getting what is called infinity returns. Infinity returns. Basically, infinity returns is I've put money in a deal, but I'm able to take that money out, but I'm still earning some rewards out of it, some returns. That's the best returns for me. And I don't care what number it is. I don't care because it's now infinity. I have no money in that deal. If you don't know what infinity returns, once this is done, check out on Google. Just go and check out what infinity returns is. It's the best investment that you can get. Right. Whilst I'm wrapping up, I'm gonna go to Crazy. Crazy. Welcome again to if I was an investor. Okay, that was the old question that they asked there. Sorry, I wasn't checking out my comments nicely. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for tonight. Like again, if there is any other comments or questions that you'd like me to discuss, I am happy in the comments. Just let me know what you want us to talk about. We'll jump in and do it, right? But other than that, I will check you out again next week, Saturday at 7 p.m. and we'll talk about passing it on, and I'll be giving you some valuable information. Did you get some valuable information right now on this video? Give me some heart if this has been valuable to you. Should I stop? Right? Should I never do these things, or should I just continue coming out every Saturday, giving you some value? Right, right. Okay. So Crazy says some dope content. Right. Thanks, you brother. So give me some heart, give me some love, some comments there if this is giving you value. Right. I get to spend about 30 minutes. I take off my 30 minutes out of my weekend with my kids and my wife. And then I'm like, I need to reach out to you so that we can talk about this. So totally value your guys' time being here. Next week, Saturday, if you can invite others, take this content, place it somewhere else, and give the guys some content, right? Let we all learn. That's what it's called. Pass it on. It is your boy, TJ from Empire Property Addicts. We will see you again next weekend. Cheers and God bless.